All right, hello everyone. It is 7 o'clock in the morning here in the Pacific Northwest. I'm just now going live on YouTube. So just waiting a few moments for everyone to start gathering and popping on. So good morning, Lorraine and Heather. And hi, Yvonne. Haven't seen you pop on for a while. So before I get started, as people are gathering, there's a lot of astrological events that are happening. I am not an astrologist. I can't even pretend to be an astrologist. And I also can't even pretend to understand all the different degrees and things going forwards and backwards and all. But all I know is that we are being heavily influenced by the cosmos and by the galactic light that's coming in. And it's basically, the bottom line is, if we thought we were working before, we're ready to go to work now. However, it's not going to be like it was before because we've got new frequencies. You're bringing all of your issues that you've had into the current 5D frequency. So your capacity to look at those things differently in your life is going to really expand. So in my little note that I saw pop up on Facebook, let me get the man, Alex Miles said, Uranus retrograde now until January 27th, but over that time, there's 7 planets going into retrograde. And this is how Spirit kind of shows me what that means. So if you've ever had a slingshot and you're the pebble in that slingshot, it's like, for me, when the planets are going in retrograde, it's like you're taking your hand and you're pulling backwards. And then when they all start spinning station direct, it's like letting go of the slingshot and you're just going to catapult to a different level. But for me, my name is Nancy Rebecca. You can go visit my website, intuitivemind.org. I'm a registered nurse, but I'm also a clairvoyant, which means that I can see the spirit world at the same time I see the physical world. So for me, all of these grand gestures of the planets and people saying prayers and meditation, it's all really great, but it's not going to do us any world of good if we can't pick up the pain that we have in our bodies and we can't get our human aspects motivated and excited about these times. I mean, this is essential to get excited about these times that we are living in. I was just, I'm giddy with excitement, and that I go to bed giddy and I wake up giddy because I can remember that as spirit, I really wanted to be here. Oh, I just had a little flicker. So it's like everything shut down. It's like, no, I wanted to be here during this great time of change. And I can tell you that you wanted to be here during this great time of change, but that's not going to do you any good until you can tell yourself, we're going to make this, we're going to do this, we are ready. So good morning. Oh, you did lose me for a second. I lost me for a second too. So I think I get so excited. Sometimes I think my excitement kind of blows out the electrical system. All right, so let me just talk about this. This is about the September frequency forecast, but a lot of this is going to kind of infuse and impact us really over the next 3 or 4 months. It's big. It's like this big. So, number one, your relationship to everything is changing. Everything, not just human relationships, but relationships with animals, relationships with plants, relationships with people who, have power issues, relationships with compassion. I mean, everything is shifting over these next few months when it comes to relationships. Number two, mass shifts and revelations are beginning a paradigm shift in a big way. So what this means is that you saw your world in one way, and then suddenly it seems like you're looking at everything from a different perspective. So most of the time, this is my perspective, working as a psychic for 30 years, that for many of us, this transition could be seamless, where it's just someone's like, what happened to you? You're different. Or you're looking at someone else saying, what happened to you? You're different. And remember, you can celebrate the differences. But the paradigm shift is when you've looked at something the same way forever and ever and ever, and then all of a sudden you can no longer look at it that way. So that's happening. The biggest shift that you may be experiencing over September, this is almost like the gates are really opening for this faster moving sidewalk, is what I call it. The biggest shift that you may experience is a fundamental change in the way that you see the world. So it's exciting. But for me, because I am a nurse and a psychic, yeah, I can see way up there in the spiritual realm. I can also see what's happening to us at the physical realm. And where my passion is okay, just tell me how it's going to affect me. Tell me how I'm going to feel. Tell me how my human body is going to go through this. And so this is the main thing Spirit showed me. It's like the angels are standing up in the heavens, and it's just like this light is just, they're just sending this light to the earth, like lots of light. This is what I can see. Like I could see their hands, and they're boosting and boosting and boosting. And it's almost like trying to give us enough light so that we can stand up and we can move forward again. Because at the 3D level, at our human level, what I'm seeing the biggest piece right now in September and early into October is that we are kind of dropping our consciousness, we're kind of dropping down into the lower 3 chakras. So your first chakra, energy center between the hips, is about survival. Second's about emotions. Third's about power. So you've got powerful emotions that you're channeling into that pure desire to survive at the human level. But at the spiritual level, this is where you're going to need to start making that choice of, okay, who am I letting drive my car right now? You've heard me talk about this before. We're going to do that again at the end of this. I'm going to guide you through a little meditation where your spirit really wants to get in the driver's seat. But right now, it might feel like your spirit's trying to pry your fingers off of the steering wheel. I love that, Pat. Thank you. Only one thing is changing, everything. That's perfect. We need a bumper sticker for that. Hello, Mr. W from the US Midwest. Nice to see you on the call. Okay, I have 7 pages to talk to you about in the next 30 minutes. All right. So mass shifts in your relationships are the biggest thing. We are having large galactic influences from September into December, even into January of 2024. Stellar changes is the word that I hear. What has been hidden will be revealed. I've been saying this since 2017. And wow, has a lot been revealed since then. And the truth will be illuminated. So mass shifts of all your relationships is the big theme. When I was working full-time as a psychic, the number one question that most people wanted to know about before they walked out of the office was, tell me about my relationships. I want to know, am I going to meet the love of my life? The number 2 question is, what's my purpose in life? What's my life's purpose? What am I here to do? So we all have several life purposes. I just want to say that we all have several life purposes. But this is the crazy thing, and it's happening for me too, where all of those life purposes are now seeming to come together and roll into one. So the example that I will give is, I'm pretty, a professional nurse, love intuitive medicine, frequency healing. I'm into all that, really into the human body. Like I get excited about what your liver looks like on an energetic level. And I've done a deep dive in that for 30 years. But in the last kind of 7 years, that started to change when the galactic blue light beings came in. So on one camp, I had the blue light galactic star beings from other planets and universes. And then on this side, I was doing the human aura thing. And I was explaining to Yvonne last night, I said, it used to be like 6 football fields away from each other. It's like, okay, put on my blue hat this side, put on my nurse hat this side. All right, well, now I was saying it's like they're overlapping and I don't know what to do with this. So this is what Spirit is saying. It's like you can have several life purposes, but they're now starting to blend with each other. You're going to wake up blended tomorrow? No, this might take a couple of years to totally blend. But right now in September, this is where the double doors are starting to open. So it's very real for your human self with all of these changes to want to know those things. I call it's very 3D to want to know. But this fundamental shift is moving you to 5D. So the 5D is the spiritual realm, the 3D is the human realm, and then you've got your heart in there and the 4th realm and the rainbow bridge and all of that great stuff. But I work with enough people to know they could give a rip about what's happening at the spiritual level when you just feel sick or you're depressed or you're anxious or you're grieving and you're sad. It's so hard to think of yourself as a spiritual person. And all of that is changing. So this is kind of the difference. So the big thing people want to know about relationships, and really the biggest thing is about your relationship with yourself. But these are kind of the differences between 3D and 5D. Will my relationship survive? So how many of you right now are going through some big relationship conflicts, whether it's with yourself or your partner or your friends or your work? Will my relationship survive is a question that your human body will ask. How your spirit response is, if this is what you choose. Will my relationship survive? And spirit says, well, if that's what you choose, then it will. So, will I meet my soulmate is what we ask at the human level. And spirit says, you have had many soulmates in this lifetime. This is how spirit talks. It's like, okay, here's another one. My mate does not spiritually understand me. And then spirit says, when you understand yourself, then you will no longer wish for someone else to understand you. So this is the difference between, is your mind in the front seat of your car or is your spirit? And then my siblings leave me out of their get-togethers. My parents don't love me as much as they love my siblings, or my boss tends to favor employees that are more quiet and I'm loud and talkative. And then your spirit says in the 5D realm, let me invite you to understand your spiritual contracts and agreements that you have with these individuals and that they have with you. So this can assist you to understand why you incarnated with them. Okay, so this is the difference between the human perspective and the spiritual perspective. So frequency forecasts for September, you're going to start noticing those types of shifts. You're no longer able to compromise this month your happiness for someone else's needs. And let me flip that. They're no longer going to be able to compromise to fulfill your desires and needs. So you're going to get to deal with this on both sides. But this is the thing that I'm noticing here for September, is that in the past, spirit, your higher self or higher wise self, even my higher self, it's like in the past, it would be like, it's your choice. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to meditate today. Well, that's your choice. I don't know if I want to evolve. That's your choice. I don't know if I want to stay on the planet. That's your choice. But now it's like you've had 10 options. 10 I just heard 10 escape routes. You've had 10 escape routes and now you only have 3. So it's like, we're narrowing our focus. Your spirit is narrowing your focus so that you can continue to move forward. So now where spirit was saying, I'm just going to sit in the back seat until your mind decides to give up that wheel of the car. Your spirit's not saying that now. What it's saying is move back, get in the back. I'm driving. You don't get to say what you want to do right now. I'm going to get you through this. It would be like you've got to cross a river and it's a class 5, whitewater river, and your spirit and you've got your mind in the front, and it's like, how am I going to get around this? And your spirit's like, give me the wheel, get in the back, and your spirit's going to drive you through those rough waters to get you on the other side. So this is what's really happening in September. It's like this shift from the physical to the spiritual. Okay. So let me just talk about Libra. So we're right in Virgo right now. We're starting to head more into those influences of Libra. And because this month is all about Virgo. And see, Virgo is this air sign. Virgo wants to understand. And it's really perfect right now that we are being influenced by that Virgo type of moving through the world, because when you've got so many planets going into retrograde, Virgo can rapidly help tie up those loose ends. Remember, we're kind of being pulled back, which means we're really digging deep in things that have happened in the past, things that have happened maybe in the last 20 days, but you're reviewing and resolving them, and Virgo can do that really, really rapidly. As long as Virgo, the influence of Virgo, even if you're not a Virgo, you can be an Aquarius, but be influenced by this light. As long as Virgo doesn't overly focus on one issue. So then we're getting ready to move into Libra at the end of the month. And Libra's influence, again, is all about relationships, which is going to fall right into the fall equinox. Okay. Oh my gosh. So Jennifer just said, and Yvonne and I have been having these conversations the last few days, and Yvonne was in the kitchen, and this is exactly what she said. She said, the only way we're going to make it moving forward is if we start taking responsibility, 100% responsibility for everything that's happening in our life. And so that's what you can read Jennifer's post, but that's exactly what she said. She's made that conscious choice. She's going to start looking at everything from, okay, if I'm responsible for this, how am I going to change this? So we'll leave it at that. So the Libra influence that we're having is Libra loves balance and harmony, making peace, and wants everybody to get along. Libra traits will need to step up and say no more BS when others challenge the balance. Libras are getting that Libra energy is really infusing you to stand up and say, I don't like conflict and I want peace and harmony, but you just really crossed a line one too many times. So Libra's really starting to stand up here. So Libra is not keen on confrontation, but this too is getting and growing old in the new frequency. And but the other thing about this Libra influence is when Libras are done, they're done. All the apologies in the world cannot make them go back. So this is the type of experience that you're having right now in your Libra relationships. I don't mean literal Libra, I just mean the frequency. We're talking about the frequency of Libra and the frequency of Virgo. So all of those things are impacting you. But on the flip side, I wrote, Hey, cutie Libra, you know you're always compromising yourself and putting me first, because this can happen in your relationship too. And then suddenly they'll say, I'm gonna start putting you first in our relationship. So you can have some crazy things like that happen in your relationship where they're selfish, 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 your partner's selfish, and then suddenly your partner says, you know what? I've been taking advantage of your kindness and your niceness, and I can see that with clarity now. I'm going to start putting you first. So we can see those things happening as well. Oh, I have so much to say. Okay. So big star I put by, the double doors of awakening are just beginning to open in September and will carry on, I said, through December of 2023, but also moving right into January. The light flooding into our Earth's atmosphere is so blindingly bright that even the smallest crack in this opening can trigger you to have um, higher states of consciousness awaken in you. Okay? So this 3-month opening will continue to shine light on the relationship with your own spirit, revealing the full scope of what you are potentially capable of. So when you're only looking at, this may sound wonderful, but on the inside, you may just be feeling the aches and pains. But Spirit is saying, if you could only see the brilliance of your own light that radiates through that pain, radiates through those cracks, and how your light uplifts those around you in your community, you would celebrate this time rather than be frustrated at this time. But I do want to make a note here that when you have layers of abuse, where there's been abuse in your life, the light can trigger a greater intensity of the old abuse. However, what Spirit wants you to know is that this frequency is much more refined, meaning it can go deeper. So right now there's a huge blue light, high level knowledge coming in. It's just going to seep through those cracks. It's going to go super, super deep in that old abuse and start to soften it, making it much easier to clear, where in the past it may have felt like moving through it was like a sledgehammer on a concrete wall. Spirit is promising there's going to be easier movements in this. Spirit's calling this the big shove. September's the big shove, the big push. So I suggest that you allow the waters of change to calm before you make any life-changing decisions, because there can be an urge in this awakening process to make dramatic changes. But you really want to let your body integrate before you make another big leap. The game board inside of you, this is what Spirit said. The game board inside of you is moving around repeatedly until your spirit can determine where you wish to see the board pieces settle themselves before taking action, before moving that next piece. So between September 1st and September 16th, it can be pretty chaotic as you're kind of getting used to this shift at the 3D level, while there's another surge at the 5D level. But between September 22nd and 26th, there's another big shift that's happening. And this is around the fall equinox. So I'm on my 23rd year of doing a group reading on the solstices and the equinox. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, we have the fall equinox. This is where we create that enormous vortex of all of our energies together that really amplify our ability to rapidly heal and rapidly awaken and rapidly, this is the best part, to integrate during that shift. So the link will be here. We're still registering for the fall equinox. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, I already said that. So this is the big one. This is what I wrote. Have I said this is the big one like 10 times already? You will find yourself beginning, this is a big one. All right, you ready? You'll begin to find yourself beginning a process of no longer losing sleep at night around what other people think about you. That's a big one, isn't it? We often think that we don't want to care what you think about us, but deep down, it really hurts us when other people judge us. So, compromising your truth just stopped working. So now what are you going to do? That's the name of the theme of the fall equinox. So what's going to happen here is that you're just not going to be able to care. And this, it doesn't mean that you don't care. It's just, I don't have time to care about what you think about me. I don't have time. We've got big work to do right now. And so that's really starting to happen. Spirit asked me the other day, if you're wondering if this person's upset with you or not, why would you waste your time even wondering when the spirit world, has got a job for you to do, or your spirit wants you to look this direction. Your spirit doesn't want you to squat down and pick through the rocks on the ground. It's like, keep moving. We don't have time, for you to care. So how often do you turn over thoughts, ideas, decisions, opinions while putting it all through the filter of what's my mom going to think? What's my dad going to think? What's my spouse going to think? What are my kids going to think? What are my friends going to think? And suddenly, what are you going to do when all those filters fall away? That's what's happening right now. This September will begin to illuminate just how challenging it can be to make a personal decision if you're not putting it through a filter. Do you trust your ability to make a decision if you're not bouncing it off somebody else? That's where your big challenge is going to be. Because if you are not being mirrored by somebody else, how are you going to know what to do? And so we think this sounds lovely at this cosmic level, but this is some real stuff we're having to face right now, and we can do it. Spirit's like, you've got this. You are no longer able to compromise yourself, meaning you're no longer able to give up what you wanted to do for the sake of ending an argument. It's just not going to work anymore. Even more than that, you may find that you can't even care because your spirit is so neutral. Your spirit's driving the car. I know we're going to make it. Look, we're crossing this wild, waves of the river, but look on the other side. It's going to be a nice, smooth ride. Your spirit just cannot be bothered with your mind that's in the backseat screaming, don't. Okay. Do I have to kind of like calm myself again? I just flipped out again. All right. So your mind's in the back like, we're gonna die. And your spirit's like, we've got this. This car can fly across this river when I've got my hands on the steering wheel. And so you're just not going to be able to do that. You might notice that you can't even take the bait of the argument. If someone's arguing with you, you just can't do that. Anyway, oh my God. But I always want to flip this. I'm going to call you on your stuff. You've got people around you that aren't going to take your bait either. If you're trying to emotionally manipulate, if you're trying to say, okay, fine, I'll just sit here all by myself. Okay, fine, I'll just go to the movie by myself, you can just stay home. It's like, no, nobody's going to be able to take your bait either. Where in the past somebody might have said, fine, I'll go to the movie with you. If you think the world was crazy before, it will remain crazy. I wrote, even when the Democrats and the Republicans here in the United States find their squabbles just can't get the same rise out of our population anymore. Can't get a rise out of us anymore. How are they going to behave if we just can't even? It's like, come on, you guys, gals, We got to get across this river and you're causing too many waves for me to bother with. And so that's already starting to happen. We're not even in September yet, and it's already starting to happen where people are just like, oh, yeah, go take a break. I can't be bothered. And this is on both sides, Republican and Democrats. But the main population of humanity is really, remember what's been hidden is being revealed. Clarity of truth is being illuminated, and we're all starting to awaken to that. So whether you love or hate Trump, you still have to admit the man loves getting a rise and loves attention. There's a lot of people like him, so he's not alone in this. He's just louder than everybody else. But what's going to happen when you listen to him speak and it's like drinking a bland cup of milk? It's like, oh, well, yeah, and yeah, okay, whatever. This is what can be happening. Are you going to wake up tomorrow? Is it going to be like this? Probably not. It could be 2 or 3 years for some of you. It can be 2 or 3 months. But September 2023, kicking off. So I only mentioned Trump because he represents at a massive level what you will be experiencing at a micro level in your own life. So what's making the biggest difference? You are beginning to shift, getting your needs met from the outside of you to moving towards meeting your needs yourself, your inner self. So remember when Spirit said, what was that question? Sorry, I have to find it because it was really good. I just want to say it right. Oh, it's like, let me invite you to understand the spiritual contracts and agreements of why you incarnated with others. And I just missed this because I said, what can be the most tragic in relationships is when you do not feel you can leave an abusive relationship, or you feel like you've been abandoned by some people around you that you love. Your spirit right now during this time is moving mountains to help you get the most healing out of these changes moving forward. Okay. I think we're getting ready for our meditation. Okay, all that, and all that. All right. So we're going to do a meditation together, and it's going to be quick, and everybody can do this. And I don't know, people, I think they hear the word meditation, and it's like eating a dry cracker with no peanut butter on it. It's not like that. I love making meditation fun. So we're just going to take a few minutes, but let me kind of describe to you, Spirit gave me this meditation. So we're going to do a meditation, and we're going to get ourselves grounded, get a little cosmic energy thing going on. And then you're going to feel into the 3D perspective. And then you're going to intend to shift into the 5D perspective. Which one will you choose? Because this is what Spirit is saying. We do have a choice. And sometimes that choice doesn't even have to be conscious. There's a big word that's called spiritual bypassing. A lot of people throw that around. And what that just means is that you're like happy, happy, joy, joy, but you're not tending to some of the old past ways that you were hurt or harmed. You can still have that 5D perspective, and that 5D perspective can still help you to heal at that 3D level. So you're not bypassing anything. You're just looking at it from a place that's neutral. You're looking at it from that neutral perspective where your spirit's in the driver's seat. So what's my life's path and purpose is the second big question people ask. This is the answer number one that always comes through from Spirit in the last 30 years when I've been doing readings is your sole purpose in life is to ground the cosmic light, the cosmic evolutionary awakening light into the earth so that everyone can benefit from this. Everyone in the world can benefit. That's your number one job. If you fulfill it in other ways, your purpose is fulfilled in other ways, then that's a bonus. But your number one job is to ground the light. So let's go ahead and let's fulfill our main purpose right now. And then we'll shift 3D, 5D so you can experience the choices, okay? All right, everyone, go ahead and close your eyes. I'm going to try to ground my excitement about September because I know, and I know you can do amazing things. Take a moment to send a little love to your physical body. Nice, nice. Send a little love to your higher wise self. Asking your higher wise self to continue to remain in the driver's seat of your car and to help your human body also have a nice, smooth ride. So remember, the number one purpose for everyone in the world is to ground the cosmic evolutionary awakening light deep into the earth so that everyone, all of humanity, can benefit from it. So right now, call in that beautiful cosmic, it can be whatever color you want, it can be rainbow, it can be blue or green or pink, whatever color, cosmic light that is filled with the evolutionary awakening light to be grounded into the earth. And so let's go ahead and call that light into the room where you are. And who's going to receive that beautiful cosmic evolutionary awakening light first? You are. So go ahead and let it infuse through the top of your aura, the top of your physical head, body, and just start allowing that transformational light to come all the way through you. And remember, it's getting more refined. It can soak deep to your core and shine through the cracks of your rawness and your imperfections. It can fill the cracks of your doubts and insecurities, your fears. Your illusions. Beautiful. Bring it all the way down. Let it just infuse all the way down past your feet. And then that stream of consciousness light's going to go past your feet, cut right through the crust of the earth, and it's going to travel all the way down to the magnetic core, which there are beautiful crystals at the magnetic core. And go ahead and anchor the cosmic light into the earth to help heal and support humanity. If you feel that you're down in the lower 3 chakras, imagine that you're standing up. Your whole light is standing up within your body, and that your consciousness is going to be in the center of your head, looking out through your human eyes, your third eye. So rise up out of that area that's below the diaphragm. And just imagine that that light is radiating through a 3D, a very physical human frequency, a very earthly frequency. So that cosmic light is now moving through that human frequency. Just set your intention. I'm now at the 3D frequency. Now, set your intention to shift to that 5D, fifth dimensional frequency, is where the spiritual aspect of who you are takes charge. It's the higher frequency at the 5D level that will start radiating through your entire body and human energy field. All right, just one more time. Shift back to 3D, because you're going to make that memory imprint so you know what 3D feels like. Shift back to the third dimensional frequency. Now shift back to the fifth dimensional frequency and continue to let that cosmic awakening enlightening light keep flowing through you and anchoring to the earth at the fifth dimensional 5D frequency. Remind yourself of what today's date is. Remind yourself of how old you are. Bringing all of your energy fully into the present moment. And when you're ready, thank your body, thank your spirit. Open your eyes, stretch. Whew. So we're getting ready to wrap up the call, but this is your assignment if you choose to take it. Every day, saying, I am solidly grounded in the fifth dimensional frequency. I am solidly grounded in the fifth dimensional frequency. So as you walk out the door, whether you're going to work, visiting a friend, whether you're eating popcorn and watching Netflix, you just go, I'm grounded in the fifth dimensional frequency of light. And you will be fulfilling your purpose in life. And then everything else is the frosting on the cake. So thanks, everyone. Don't forget to register for the fall equinox. We are moving into unity of community. That means be involved in anything that has to do with group consciousness, group frequencies, community gatherings. whether you are doing anything that I am offering or whether what somebody else is offering, as often as you can, take a seat in the back of the room and just allow yourself to benefit from the frequencies of change as you are ready. Okay. Thank you so much, Sue. I appreciate that. I'm going to go back and read all of your comments, but go ahead and share the frequency forecasts for September. Big changes. We came here to make these changes. We came here to do this. We were given the instruction manual. It's somewhere inside of us in our DNA and genetics. So don't worry. You'll be given the knowledge when you're ready for it. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone. And I won't be here next week, but I will have a video to release. I'm going to the Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. And I'll be there a week with my mother. Super excited. I'll be posting about that, talking about that next week. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.